Hi, I'm Phil,
And I'm Celeste.
and we are Retire on 2K exploring our options.
And this week we have been exploring our options in Mexico, in Rosarito Beach on the Pacific coast south of San Diego, California. And we had a wonderful time.
Yes, we did.
We are looking at 5 different criteria that we will rate with a star basis for our own needs and our
Yes.
own wants, but you can also use this to help you make decisions for yourself. So the 5 areas that we're looking at are lifestyle,
Transportation,
climate,
location.
and affordability.
Yes.
So Phil, in the lifestyle area, what did you think about the housing that we saw there?
Well, the housing was awesome. It was beautiful, right on the beach, of course, and or at least with an ocean view. While we were there, we had a local realtor took us around to 2 different places to show for rent. Now, the reason why we're looking to rent at this point in time, what we've learned through our research on Mexico is that if you're going to move to Mexico, you should rent for the first couple of years and then find that place where you think you would like to settle and then consider purchasing. But for us, we just want to rent at this time. And so we looked at 2 different properties. One was a townhouse, and it was 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. And then the upper part of the complex, all the townhouses, are roofs that are patios. And you look out to a panoramic view of the ocean. It was
that.
beautiful.
Love.
Yes, and then we looked at also just a standalone home in a development in a gated community, and the house was $820 a month, and it has a double garage, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and then the townhouse was a gated community, and of course in an apartment townhouse. So.
And it had police as the security. The
Yes.
townhouse did. The other one was just a security guard who was a really nice fellow.
Mm-hmm.
But at the townhouse subdivision, they actually had a policeman at the front, and then each street was also gated.
Yes, and this is very important, as you'll learn throughout this video.
Yeah, so, there were areas of housing where the Mexicans live, the middle class and lower class Mexicans live that are very much third world. And we were told that even if you had a nice home inside, that it would not be a good place for the gringos, as they call us, because we would not be safe there. But the expat housing and then the higher end housing was all really nice and up to American standards, I would say.
Yes.
What about utilities?
Well, utilities are all there. Of course, your hot water heater and your stove, your oven, are all gas, and so you have a propane service that comes around and fills. I think it's like a 50 or 60 gallon bottle, and pressurized bottle, and so it's awesome. It works great. You have internet, cable television, or you can go with Dish Network or the like, and so you have the same utilities available that we have here.
And they are very affordable, very much so more than here.
Yes.
Our friends with a 3 bedroom, around a 2,000 square foot home pay about $60 a month for electricity, $20 for water. I think they said their propane is about $30. So it's a lot more affordable than where we live here in Tennessee and many parts of the United States. Safety.
Well, safety is an issue anywhere in our world, and so often when Celeste and I would tell friends and family and whatnot that we are, we're praying about moving to Mexico, the initial response, of course, is always, "Are you sure you're going to be safe?" Well, this is a question that we can ask ourselves, Celeste and I, we can ask ourselves when we're just going to drive up to the east side of Nashville after dark. So safety is an issue no matter where you live. And we know that God has given us, the Creator has put into all of us the ability to exercise common sense.
Yes, and we were told that as long as you don't go out at night, it's really not safe to drive there at night. You're going to be okay. And then the people that have the biggest problems with murders and rapes and that sort of things are people who are in the party scene, going to the bars, hanging out and doing drugs, going to beach parties. Those are the places where these things tend to happen more than not. Activities.
Well, there are a lot of activities around the Rosarito Beach area, Southern California. Of course, you have the beach. There are things that you can do. And Rosarito, in particular, they have a beautiful new convention center, concerts, all kinds of things. Mexican circus and theaters come through. The Greater Rosarito area has a lot of activities that you can do. You can ride horses on the beach.
They have a gym. They have
phenomenal.
like 24-hour gyms like we do here, and different kinds of fitness classes.
And
a lot of the subdivisions have pools.
And the cultural activities that you can get involved in there as well. And, it's good when you consider moving to any foreign country, but, for us, Mexico, we're looking to get involved in the culture. We want to learn about the culture, learn the language. And it's just exciting. So there's a great amount of activities that you can be involved in down there, both in the water and out of the water.
As well as humanitarian
Yes.
activities, helping. There's lots of
Yes.
places where you can help. The culture. We love the friendliness of the Mexican people. We were warmly greeted wherever we went. When we looked like we needed help, someone would step forward and offer help. Even the guardhouse at the subdivision that we were at, the guard noticed that we were having problems connecting with our Uber driver, and he invited us into the guard shack to look at his password and stuff so we could get on his Wi-Fi. And so they're very helpful and warm and loving. And there was always a buenos dias, buenas noches, buenas tardes. And in the restaurants, we felt the same way. We were helped. In the marketplace, people were friendly, and that was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we enjoyed the people. We love the Mexican culture as well. Now, transportation. Let's talk about transportation for a minute.
So we have really enjoyed riding our bikes in Middle Tennessee here. For the last about 4 months, we've been doing all our shopping on our bikes. We've been riding bikes for fun and for exercise, and honestly, I love it.
We do.
So our first time downtown, we'd only been in country for maybe 2 hours, and we look across the street in the downtown area after having street tacos, and there is a bicycle under a car.
Under a car.
And the person that was riding the bicycle being picked up by an ambulance.
Yes.
So I immediately told Phil, this is not a place to ride a bike.
Not bicycle friendly.
We also found that some of the subdivisions still have cobblestone streets, and you cannot ride a cobblestone bike on a cobblestone street. Just being in an SUV felt like we were on the Oregon Trail. So it is not possible to ride a bike in Rosarito for transportation.
Right. And for us, riding bikes is very important. Walking is very important. And since we are retire on 2K, that's $2,000 a month, we are looking in the Mexican culture for a place to do that. Now, a car, at this point in time, we choose to not have a car. If we can save, $500 a month by not having the expense of insurance, a car, upkeep, all that,
Yes.
then we're excited to just have decent little bicycles. The car in Mexico now, if you are an expat moving to Mexico, you have to have insurance coverage in America, and you have to have insurance coverage in Mexico. And then depending on what your visa situation is, if you're like us and you're just starting out, when you go back across the border at your 6 month or 180 days, you have to take your automobile with you. It has to leave the country. It cannot stay in Mexico. So you have to take your car out. Now that's one of the benefits of living in an area on a border town like Rosarito, Tijuana area. Easy to take your car back across the border. But for us, we choose to not have the expense of a car. We are in excellent health. We don't need to depend so much on a car, and it removes so much money from our budget every month if we do have a car.
And stress, just the stress of driving. I cannot see myself enjoying driving in Rosarito because of the traffic.
Very busy.
They do have Ubers there. We took an Uber. It cost about the same amount as what we pay here when we take an Uber within the Franklin area. And you are close to the airport. There's an airport in Tijuana that flies throughout Mexico at a reduced cost, so that makes it great for exploring. And you are also close to the San Diego airport once you get across and through the border.
Another thing about the Uber experience down there, we had been to town a couple times, been down to the beach with the people that we were guests in their home, so we knew where we wanted to go with the Uber. And so when the Mexican driver picked us up, he doesn't speak English, and we don't speak Spanish, and so I did know the name of the hotel restaurant where we were going to start our day, and so I just told him Hotel Pelicanos. And he said yes, so it was all good. And so yeah, it's just know a landmark if you do, where you want to go downtown, if you've had any experience there already. But Uber is very much available in Mexico, in Rosarito.
And we felt safe. All right, so now let's talk about the climate. We came home to 58% humidity and temperatures in the 90s, and it feels very hot to us.
Very warm.
Compared to how we felt in Mexico on the beach.
It was awesome. You know, air conditioning is basically non-existent in Rosarito housing. If you're going to rent a place, like the two places we looked at, neither one of those had air conditioning. Now, the home was probably 10 years old in a beautiful subdivision. The townhouse, I believe, was in a unit, total units were 15 years old. None of them had air conditioners unless the owners put them in. And you're close enough to the ocean that you do have a sea breeze. But we learned while there that we're entering the hot time of year down there. So August, September, Octoberish gets fairly warm, and then there are a few weeks in there where you don't have a lot of sea breeze for whatever reason. So it does get warm. But just know that there's no air conditioning down there unless you put it in.
The sunshine was awesome. Sunshine every day. It was usually foggy in the mornings and then sunny until, 8 or 9 at night.
Yes.
And things grow there. Oh, the flowers were
Beautiful.
so beautiful.
The bougainvillea was beautiful.
Oh, you are my bougainvillea.
You are.
And the hibiscus and just all those beautiful flowers. And then it just kind of gave me hope that you could probably also have a good garden, a good vegetable garden. I imagine tomatoes and all of those things grow well in that climate.
And the sunshine. I mean, you know, we have plenty of sunshine right here in Middle Tennessee. But we did love being on the beach. It was wonderful to hear the seagulls and just the ambiance of the beach.
You know, and one
palm
thing,
trees.
we didn't talk about this, but it was fun to see the families on the beach, lots of families, Mexican families playing on the beach, and mariachi bands walking around on the street, on the beach, in restaurants, and they would play for you, and that was a lot of fun to see that.
Yes, we have some footage of a mariachi band that you're going to see.
All right, Phil, location. We've talked a little bit about location, but what do you think about the location of Rosarito?
Well, location was awesome. I mean, you're on the coast, you're on the beach, and for me, it really doesn't get much better than that. I love the ocean, love the coast. You know, as far as looking at the rating and stars up to this point, for instance, in lifestyle, we gave lifestyle in Rosarito a 4 due to the the cost of housing, excuse me. Then transportation, we gave it 2 stars because we choose to not have a car, and right there in Rosarito, it'd be difficult to be riding around on bicycles and all that, so not going to fit. Climate, of course, is 5 stars, and then location is 5 stars.
And that's also because it's near the U.S. If it's important to you to have a hospital or doctors close by because of your U.S. insurance, if it's important to you to be able to go fly anywhere in the U.S. Shopping, you know, you're 20 miles-ish to San Diego, and you may spend some time at the border. You know, you could spend from 1 hour to 8 hours waiting to get across, but you do have all the American shopping that we're used to. And so those were the positive things. The negative things would be the border, because we saw thousands of cars lined up waiting to get across.
Right.
And our friends had a special pass, so they got us across in about an hour. And they were so happy that we got across that quickly. So
Yeah, and it was interesting to us that we had never traveled out of country with a passport before. And so here, when we're going south out of California, out of the U.S. into Mexico, you didn't have to show anything. You just drive down through the border and you're there. But coming back out is where you have to show your documents. And so we did that and everything went fine. But they had what's called a Century Pass to come back and forth.
and then the other location downside would be just theft. There is a lot of theft in that area. And as long as you're gated and you have the bars on the windows or you have the gated communities and you're parking your car in places that are have security, you're pretty much going to be okay. But I think probably everyone that we talked to had something stolen there, which is not something that we have experienced in America.
We haven't experienced that, but theft is all around us. And when you're going into a different culture, it's not only Mexico, it's anywhere. Just be aware of where you're at, where your stuff's at, what's going on. I dare say that in America, if we left a $20 bill sitting on a counter somewhere and we went out to the car, by the time we got back in, somehow that thing had been taken, it disappeared. But it's not to say anything negative about Mexico. It's just that theft happens everywhere. So just be aware of where your stuff's at.
So the last topic is affordability.
Well, we gave the Rosarito area 2 stars on affordability, and that's just for us. Now keep in mind, we have a budget that we're going to live within, and for us it just really doesn't work that well because simply we do not want to have a car. If we don't choose to live somewhere where we have to have a car. Now we're in business, we have a business that we're involved in that we've met some wonderful people, and in this business some of our partners are Amish people. And when I shared with my Amish brothers that we haven't had a car for about 6 months, they just smiled from ear to ear. And
you've saved about $300. You would have saved about $300,000 over your lifetime if you didn't have a car.
Yeah, and I shared with that one young man. I said, my wife and I, having been involved as pastors for many years and everything else, and me not being mechanical, from the time that our first child was on the way, I just determined we're going to have a car payment forever because I wanted to have reliable transportation for my wife and family. And so I shared with him basically what we'd paid for cars. And he says, man, you'd have $350,000 in the bank if you hadn't bought cars. I said, think about it. And he says, yeah, we can sell you an excellent buggy for $2,500. And so, my wife and I were thinking about horses.
And they do have horses in Mexico.
Que bueno.
All right. Cable, internet, phone, we kind of covered that already. Utilities are very affordable. Eating out is very affordable. We love the Dollar Street tacos. I could have those every day.
Yes.
And they have fresh squeezed orange juice and fresh green juice, which is a cucumber and some other things. I'm not sure exactly what's in it. Cucumber, lemon, I think,
cilantro,
and some other things. But that is very good. And that's just like a regular thing in restaurants. So that's an easy thing to have, and I love that. And then our housing affordability.
The housing affordability was big to us because through the research that we've done on Mexico, there are many places in Mexico and even down along the Pacific coast of Mexico as you continue south where you can rent a studio apartment for considerably less than $880 a month for a townhouse. And it just depends on the individual, on the couple, what you want, what you're looking for, and really it comes down to what you can afford. And so as far as trading off, we don't look like we're trading off anything for anything ourselves. We're wanting to live within our means, and while we have our health and our ability to travel and do things, if we were to settle in Rosarito, we can fly right out of Tijuana to any port in Mexico. We can go to Mexico City. We can go from Mexico City down to Hualtuco. We can come on up, go to Puerto Vallarta, go to Puerto Escondido, fly over from Tijuana straight down to Cabo San Lucas, La Paz. And so these are all things that we would like to do in the future. But for us right now, our search continues for the place that we can live and retire on 2K.
So be sure and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out a lot if you would subscribe. We really want to get up to 100 subscribers, so you can help us with that. There's a little bell there, and if you push the bell, you'll get a notification every Thursday when we post our video. And we're on Facebook, Retire on 2K, and we have lots of other topics that we put up on that Facebook page if you're interested. And then would you share this with people that you know who maybe don't have that huge 1.7 million in the bank to retire on, and they're trying to figure out they're trying to figure out how to retire and live within their means. So share this with them, and maybe this will be encouraging to them. If you have things you want to share with us, leave it in the comments. We would love to hear from you, learn from you, and see how we can help you more.
Yeah, so subscribe and give us a thumbs up. And God's blessings to all of you, and we'll see you next Thursday on Retire on 2K, exploring our options.
Bye.
Bye-bye.